All truck drivers across America were in a frenzy yesterday. They were thinking that the maximum speed limit that the rulemaking that the FMCSA put down would have been 68 miles per hour. And pretty much if you're a 2003 manufacturer and newer truck, you would have to have your ECU equipped so that you couldn't go faster than 68 miles per hour. I don't even know if I want to say luckily they took that down today, but it sounds like this is the future of trucking. Mutha Truckers, let's get into today's video. What's going on, Mutha Truckers? Welcome to Mutha Trucker News. Email us at muthatruckernews@gmail.com. I was going to make an announcement about this, and the FMCSA took it down. So basically, late last night when no one was paying attention, the FMCSA announced that all semi-trucks in America, legally, the maximum speed limit would be 68 miles per hour. And then today, they took that back. First off, the first thing I want to talk about is if that was going to be the rule and they made a goof up, what are your thoughts about that? Are you okay if the maximum speed was 68 miles per hour? Or does that still piss you off because cars are going 70 to 80 miles an hour? Mutha Truckers, comment down below. Let me know what you think about that. If you do not recall, I did interview Todd Spencer, the president of OOIDA, and he says this whole speed limiter thing is really to cut the competition from the mega carriers to the owner-operators because they have all their drivers driving slow. So they don't want the owner-operators to have that speed advantage that would make shippers want to use owner-operators versus, a mega carrier. And we all know that the mega carrier is putting that speed limit to 58 or 60 or 63 miles an hour because it helps them with their insurance, right?
Listen, this is FMCSA, the agency looking at requiring speed limiters on big trucks. Now, the motivation behind that is big carriers. Big carriers want to limit the speeds of their competition.
So the first question for you is, the FMCSA, if they made that a rule that it would go 68 miles per hour maximum speed limit all across America for all truck drivers, are you happy with that? Yes or no? So let's get into this right here. It says, originally listed the FMCSA speed limiter proposal as topping commercial vehicles out at 68 miles per hour, but by the end of the night, the document had been altered to reflect no number for a proposed top speed limit. And the speed limiter mandate proposal must go through a regulatory process before a top number can be reached, was what they stated. Do you think that's true, or you think that's full of crap and they just goofed up and they put out what they really want to do? But the requirement would apply to CMVs manufactured after 2003. So if your truck is manufactured after 2003, that would mean that you would have to go, if this mandate did happen, 68 miles per hour maximum. How would that make you feel? Because there's a lot of truck drivers out there that have trucks that are older than 2003, and that would prevent almost everybody from wanting to buy a 2003 and newer truck. But yeah, they're taking away the old school cool, and man, it's just craziness. Mutha Truckers, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about all this. The FMCSA says, quote unquote, the FMCSA intends to proceed with a motor carrier based speed limiter rulemaking by preparing a supplemental notice of proposed rulemaking to follow up on the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and FMCSA's jointly issued September 7th, 2016 notice of proposed rulemaking on this subject. The new rulemaking is subsequent with consultation with NHTSA will consider whether additional regulatory actions should be taken concerning CMV manufacturer requirements. The significant rulemaking report states. So basically, specifically, motor carriers operating commercial motor vehicles in interstate commerce with a gross vehicle weight rating or gross vehicle weight of 11,794 kilograms or more than 26,001 pounds or more whichever is greater, would be equipped with an electronic engine control unit capable of governing the maximum speed by requiring to limit the CMV to a speed to be determined by the rulemaking and maintain the ECU setting for the service life of the vehicle. Ugh. That means you can't go faster than 68 miles an hour. That don't make me feel good at all. Mutha Truckers, comment down below. Let me know what you think about all this. Is the government overreaching once again? But as of now, they took out that speed limiter, and I think they goofed up. I think that's what they want to make it as. So in the future, I won't be surprised if that's what they do.
Again, this was in the 1970s, and lawmakers implemented a national 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. Now, certainly truckers hated it, but so did almost every other motorist. And they never complied with it, and it was the biggest frustration. In 1995, we saw an opportunity, some momentum in Congress to change that. And we pushed like crazy. And because of our ability to influence the House Transportation Committee, they went along. And when I say that, I'm boasting, I'm crowing, because we did it over the objections of lots and lots and lots of other folks. I remember distinctly, personally, hearing the president of the American Trucking Association saying, I can't think of a more boneheaded thing for Congress to do. Well, they did. And it was the right thing to do. Right thing for motorists, the right thing for truckers.
I love it.
And again, we're about doing the right thing for truckers.
And so these days, what are we fighting? Because I'm keeping close.
Hey, for the last 25 years, truckers have been struggling to have some place to park. We have momentum in Congress to pass meaningful legislation for meaningful improvements in truck parking. It's time they got off the dime and actually did it. You don't play politics when progress is called for, and lawmakers need to move on this issue. There's bipartisan support. When I say we, I'm talking about OIDA, but I'm talking about all the truckers out there. You got to motivate your lawmakers to act. You motivate them by letting them know that you're paying attention. Ring that phone. Send them emails. Send them postcards. Do whatever. But this is our opportunity. I mentioned a while ago the speed limit stuff.
Yeah, so they forgot again.
What's going on? Listen, this is FMCSA, the agency looking at requiring speed limiters on big trucks. Now, the motivation behind that is big carriers. Big carriers want to limit the speeds of their competition. And they want to use this as an opportunity to mandate implementation of all the new bells and whistles that you can put on a truck, things that may or may not make sense, that may make sense to them, but they may not make any sense at all to most guys that operate their own trucks. But they're trying to push through a regulation. We're pushing back on the regulation, but we're also pushing back with lawmakers. We have legislation introduced in both the House and the Senate that would cut off funding for that kind of an effort, cut the money off for it completely. That kills it.